The station was never silent, not even at night. But tonight it felt different. Engines hummed deep inside the walls. Alien voices whispered in strange tones, and lights flickered above the cold metal floor. Among the noise and motion, a young alien girl walked slowly. Her eyes wide, her mind restless. She had always been curious, always asking questions no one wanted to answer. Her skin shimmered faintly under the station lights, showing she was from a rare race, a race that kept to themselves. But tonight she had heard something she could not ignore. Two humans in the market had spoken about something. Something strange, something powerful, they called it. Reproduction. The alien girl stopped in a quiet corridor, the word echoing in her mind. She whispered it under her breath, almost afraid of it. Reproduction. The sound was heavy, dangerous, like a secret no one should speak. Why did humans look so serious when they talked about it? Why did aliens avoid even the mention of it when humans were near? Her people used machines, controlled growth chambers, and engineered life with cold precision. But the humans, they used something else, something natural, something hidden deep inside their bodies. Her heart raced. She needed to know. She needed to ask. Later that night, she found herself outside the repair bay where a human worker always stayed late. He was not a soldier, not a scientist, just a mechanic. But he was kind. He had once given her food when she was hungry, and he had smiled when others ignored her. If anyone could answer, it would be him. She stepped inside. The air smelled of oil and iron. Tools clattered as the human bent over a broken machine. The girl's hands shook as she gathered courage. Her voice came out soft, almost a whisper. "Human," she said, "tell me, what is reproduction?" The human froze. His tool slipped from his hand and clanged against the floor. Slowly he turned to look at her, his eyes wide with shock. For a moment he thought he had misheard. But no, the alien girl's face was serious, her eyes unblinking. Her body trembling with both fear and hunger for knowledge. He swallowed hard. Where did you hear that?" he asked, his voice low. Her answer was simple. "The market. Two humans spoke of it, but they would not explain. I want to know." The mechanic's chest tightened. This was not a question an alien should ask. This was not even something most humans explained easily to each other. Yet here she stood, her voice breaking the silent rules of the galaxy. "You don't understand," he whispered. "That word, it is forbidden here. If others hear you, you could be punished, even killed." Her eyes widened, but she did not step back. Instead, she moved closer, her voice sharper now. "Then tell me quickly, before someone else hears, what is it that humans do, that no alien dares to speak of?" The human stared at her, his mind racing. He wanted to protect her, to send her away, but something in her gaze held him. She was desperate, like someone lost in the dark, searching for light. If he refused, she might seek answers elsewhere. In dangerous places, if he told her, he might condemn them both. The silence stretched, heavy like iron. The girl's heart pounded in her chest. Every second felt like an eternity. Finally, the human spoke, his voice trembling. "Reproduction, it is how humans create life. It is not from machines, not from science, but from ourselves, from our bodies. It is the most natural thing we have." The alien girl gasped, her breath caught in her throat. To create life from within the body? To carry it, to grow it, to bring it into the world without machines? Her mind spun with shock, with awe, with terror. She whispered, "That is forbidden." "My people would call it madness," the human nodded slowly. "Yes, and that is why you must never speak of it again." But even as he said the words, he knew it was too late. Her eyes no longer looked innocent. They burned with something dangerous, curiosity, hunger, and defiance. She stepped back into the shadows, her voice soft but certain. "I will not forget this. Human," she said. "I will know more, no matter what it costs." And then she vanished into the corridors, leaving the mechanic shaking. He stared at the empty doorway, dread filling his chest. He had seen that look before, in humans who would not stop until the truth was theirs. The forbidden question had been asked, and the universe would never be the same again. The human mechanic could not sleep that night. He lay on the small bed in his repair quarters, staring at the ceiling. The sound of the alien girl's question echoed again and again in his mind. Her voice had been soft, almost innocent, but her eyes had carried something else, something unstoppable. He knew trouble was coming. By morning, he was still restless. He walked through the crowded halls of the station, eyes sharp, ears tense everywhere. Aliens moved with purpose, carrying goods, trading, whispering. But to him, every whisper sounded like danger. What if someone had heard her question? What if word spread? Later that day, she came back. The alien girl stood at the doorway of his bay, her skin glowing faintly under the flickering light. Her voice was calm but firm. "You did not tell me everything," she said. "You only gave me a shadow of truth. I want the full meaning. I want to know how it works." The human froze, his heart sinking. He put down his tools slowly and turned to face her. "You don't understand what you are asking," he said in a low, urgent tone. "This is not a simple thing. This is not a game. If your people find out you even asked me this, they will punish you. Maybe worse," but she did not look away. Her eyes locked on his, full of fire. "Then let them punish me," she said. "I want the truth, and I will not stop until I have it." The mechanic's breath caught. He saw her determination, and it frightened him more than any weapon could. He stepped closer, lowering his voice until it was almost a whisper. "You think reproduction is only about science, but it is more. It is dangerous. It changes everything. It ties two lives together. It creates another life. It cannot be undone." Her brow furrowed. "Another life?" she asked. "From two?" He nodded slowly. "Yes, from two. Joined, bound human bodies can grow new life inside, and then bring it into the world. Not with machines, not with codes, but with flesh and blood," the alien girl gasped, her hand flying to her chest. Her people engineered children from cells, from chemicals, from programs written in sterile labs, but to grow life inside one's body? It sounded impossible, terrifying, and yet strangely beautiful. She whispered, "That is why your kind are different. Why you look at each other with such warmth." The human looked away, his throat tight. "Yes, and that is why so many alien governments fear us. They cannot control something that natural, something that powerful, so they ban even the word." For a moment, silence filled the room. The girl's mind raced with images she could not explain, but then she looked up and there was no fear in her voice anymore. "There must be a way. A way to try," she said softly. The mechanic's blood ran cold. "No," he said sharply, louder than he meant to. The sound echoed through the bay, and he quickly glanced at the open door. Worried someone had heard, he lowered his voice again, stepping closer, his hands trembling. "Listen to me, you cannot, you must not. Your body is not human. It is not built for this. It could destroy you. It could kill you." But she only tilted her head, studying him like he was the strange one. "Or it could show me the truth," she whispered. "Truth worth dying for." The human's chest tightened, fear crawling through his veins. He could see now nothing he said would stop her curiosity. It was already too late. The forbidden seed had been planted. She would chase it, no matter the danger, no matter the cost. He grabbed her arm gently, desperate. "Promise me you will not try," he said, his voice breaking, but she only pulled away, her faint glowing patterns pulsing brighter. Her eyes burned with stubborn fire. "I promise nothing," she said coldly. "Humans live with their truth. Now I will live with mine." With that, she turned and slipped out into the corridor. The mechanic stood frozen, his hand still trembling in the air where her arm had been. He wanted to run after her, to stop her, but his legs refused to move. His mind was filled with a single, heavy thought. If she tried, if she truly dared, the galaxy would never forgive either of them. And yet deep inside, another thought whispered, what if she succeeded? The alien girl moved through the station that night like a shadow. Her steps were silent, her breath heavy, her mind filled with one thought. If humans can do it, then I must try. She had ignored the human's warning. His words about danger, about death, echoed in her head. But they did not stop her. Instead, they fueled her curiosity. She had grown up in a world where life came from cold machines. From sterile chambers, children were numbers, patterns, programs. Never warm, never natural, but humans. Humans carried life inside their bodies. She wanted to feel that, to know it with her own flesh in her small quarters. She locked the door and dimmed the lights. The air was cold, filled with the hum of machinery outside. On her bed lay the human object she had stolen from the market, a simple data slate, showing diagrams she had secretly found, diagrams of human biology. She did not fully understand the strange shapes and lines, but she understood enough to try. Her hands shook as she touched her own skin, tracing the glowing patterns that marked her race. Her people's bodies were different, so different from humans. Yet she felt something inside her respond, a strange warmth, a strange rhythm. As if her body remembered something it had never been taught, she closed her eyes, breathing hard, whispering, "Let me know. Let me feel what it means to be like them." For a while nothing happened. She felt only fear, the silence pressing against her ears. Then suddenly, a pulse. Deep inside, a burning sensation spread through her veins. Her body shivered, her skin glowed brighter, and her heart pounded as if it would burst. She gasped and fell to her knees. Clutching her stomach, her bones ached. Her blood felt like fire. Her glowing patterns twisted, spreading across her skin in wild, chaotic lines. She screamed, her voice muffled by the metal walls. No one heard, no one came. Her mind swirled with flashes, images of warmth, of heartbeat, of something new struggling to awaken inside her. It was not like her people's machines. Not cold, not controlled, this was raw, wild, terrifying. Her hands trembled as she touched her chest. Something alive. The pain grew sharper, her vision blurred. Her body convulsed, her voice breaking into sobs. I wanted the truth," she cried. Not this pain." And then, the door slammed open. The mechanic stood there, his face pale with horror. He had come searching, fearing exactly this. And now he saw it with his own eyes. "Stop," he shouted, rushing to her side. He grabbed her shoulders, shaking her. "What have you done?" The girl's glowing eyes lifted to his, filled with tears and defiance. "I tried," she whispered, her voice weak but unyielding. "I wanted to feel it. I wanted to know what it means to create life." The human's heart sank. Her skin was hot under his hands, her body trembling like it was breaking apart from the inside. He could feel her pulse racing unnaturally. "Too fast, too strong, you fool," he whispered. "You could die from this," but she only shook her head. No, I felt something inside me. Something moving, something real." Her lips curved in a faint, broken smile. It was beautiful. For one moment. It was beautiful. The mechanic's chest tightened with fear and anger. He pulled her close, trying to steady her breathing. "You don't understand. If anyone finds out, they won't just kill you, they'll kill me too. They'll call it corruption, blasphemy." Her eyes fluttered, heavy with exhaustion. "Then let them," she whispered. "I will not stop. I will try again. I will succeed. Even if it costs me everything." He froze, staring at her. She was trembling, her body half broken. Yet her voice carried strength. Strength that terrified him because he knew. No pain, no threat, no punishment would make her abandon this path. Her glow dimmed slowly as she fell unconscious in his arms. The mechanic held her, heart pounding, sweat dripping from his brow. The room smelled of metal and burning skin. He looked down at her fragile form and whispered, "You don't know what storm you've started." Outside the door, faint footsteps echoed in the corridor. Someone had heard the screams. The human's eyes widened with dread. He tightened his grip on the alien girl, whispering, "If they see you like this, we are both finished." The shadows grew longer in the hall as the footsteps drew closer, and for the first time, the human realized this was only the beginning. The mechanic had carried her back to his bay, hiding her from the footsteps in the corridor. The alien girl lay weak on a cot, her glowing marks fading in and out. Her breathing uneven, he sat beside her, wiping sweat from his brow, his hands still trembling. He knew the truth. Sooner or later word would spread, and it did, faster than fire in dry grass by morning. Whispers traveled through the market. They spoke of screams in the night, of glowing lights bursting from a young alien girl's quarters. Some said she was cursed. Others said she had touched forbidden human power. Fear turned into rumor, and rumor turned into frenzy. In the council chambers of the alien sectors, voices clashed. "She has broken our laws," one elder shouted. "She has touched the forbidden ways of humans." Another shook his head in disbelief. "If she has truly done what they say, then the balance of our people will be shaken forever." Priests called her a sinner, soldiers called her a threat, and scientists wanted to see her, to study her. But one truth cut through all of it. Everyone wanted her. The human mechanic felt the pressure growing. Guards had already questioned him about the screams, about the glow. He had lied, saying it was only a broken machine sparking in the night. But the looks on their faces told him they did not believe him. When he returned to his bay, he found her sitting up, her eyes still weak but her spirit unbroken. Her voice was quiet but steady. "They are talking about me, aren't they?" He hesitated, then nodded. "Yes. The whole station knows something happened. They fear you, and fear spreads faster than truth. She lowered her head, but instead of shame, there was pride in her voice. Good. Let them fear, let them know an alien dared to try. His heart sank. You don't understand what you've started, he whispered. They will not see you as brave, they will see you as dangerous. As a curse, and he was right. Outside, the streets grew tense. Alien mothers pulled their children away when she walked past. Merchants lowered their voices when they saw her, and in the far corners of the station, soldiers sharpened their blades, waiting for orders, but not everyone turned away. There were those who followed her with wide eyes, young aliens who had always wondered why humans were different. For them, she became a symbol. They whispered her name like a spark of rebellion. If she can do it, maybe we can too, they said, their voices trembling with both fear and hope. The council could not ignore it any longer. A message was sent across the galaxy, summoning leaders, priests, and scientists to gather. The case of the alien girl who dared to try human reproduction would be judged. The mechanic felt trapped. Everywhere he went, eyes followed him. Whispers trailed behind him. You are the human with her, they said. You taught her, you corrupted her, he wanted to shout, to deny. But deep inside he knew his silence that first night had already bound him to her fate. One evening, as the station's artificial lights dimmed into night mode, he found her staring out the viewing window. The stars stretched endlessly, cold and silent. They think I am cursed, she said softly. But tell me, human, why do I feel something alive inside me? Why do I feel a heartbeat that is not mine? His chest tightened with dread. Because you went too far, he whispered. And if the council discovers it, they will not let you live. She turned to him, her glowing eyes burning with fire. Then let them kill me, she said. But they cannot kill the truth now. They cannot silence what has begun. The mechanic shook his head, gripping the railing hard. You don't understand. They will not only come for you, they will come for me. They will call me your partner in this. Your crime is now mine. And as if to answer his fear, alarms suddenly echoed through the halls. A metallic voice filled the station. By order of the High Council, all gatherings are suspended, all citizens remain in place. The accused alien female is to be brought before judgment at dawn. The girl did not flinch. She stood tall, her body still weak but her spirit fierce. So it begins, she whispered. The galaxy has heard me, and now they will decide whether to end me, or to witness the first step towards something greater. The mechanic stared at her, his hands trembling. He knew dawn would change everything. For her, for him, and maybe for the entire galaxy. Outside the window, the stars remained cold, but in the silence between them, it felt as if the universe itself was holding its breath. The chamber was vast and cold, built from black stone and shining steel. High above, banners of alien empires hung heavy, watching from the walls like silent judges. At the center stood the alien girl, her hands bound in glowing restraints, her head held high despite the weight of fear pressing around her. Crowds filled the seats, leaders, priests, soldiers, and scientists, all gathered to witness her judgment. The air was thick with whispers, some calling her cursed, others calling her brave, and beside her, forced into the trial by suspicion, stood the human mechanic, his face pale, his heart pounding. The High Elder rose, his voice deep and sharp. You stand accused of breaking the sacred law, of attempting the forbidden human act of reproduction. Gasps rippled through the hall at the words, even though everyone already knew why they had come. This crime, the Elder continued, threatens the balance of our people and the safety of our worlds. Do you deny it? The girl's voice rang clear. Steady as stone, I do not deny it. I dared to try. And I will not apologize. The crowd erupted into chaos, voices shouting, fists slamming, some in fury, some in awe. The mechanic gritted his teeth, whispering under his breath, You fool, they'll tear you apart. But before the judges could deliver their sentence, something happened. The girl gasped, her body stiffening. Her glowing patterns flared brighter than ever before, racing across her arms and neck. Her eyes widened as she clutched her stomach. Falling to her knees, the crowd froze, silent. Then in the silence came a sound, a rhythm, faint but unmistakable. Thump, 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 thump. A heartbeat, not hers, another. Something alive inside her. She looked up, tears shining in her glowing eyes. Do you hear it? She whispered, her voice breaking with both fear and wonder. It is not only me anymore. Something new lives within me. The chamber exploded with chaos. Some shouted in horror, Abomination. End it now. Others leaned forward with wide eyes, trembling. Impossible. It cannot be. A child of two worlds? The High Elder slammed his staff against the floor, the sound echoing like thunder. Silence, he roared, though even his own voice trembled with shock. He turned to the human, his eyes narrowing. You! Did you do this? Did you put this thing inside her? The mechanic's mouth went dry, his body shaking. I swear, I did not. I warned her, I begged her not to try. But the words sounded hollow in the storm of fear and disbelief. The alien girl struggled to her feet, her restraints flickering as her glowing patterns pulsed like fire. Her voice rose above the chaos, strong and defiant. This is not a curse, not a sin, it is proof. Proof that life can be born without machines, proof that we are more than programs and codes. The hall split in two, half of them screaming for her death, the other half stunned into silence. The human could feel the danger closing in, soldiers gripping their weapons, priests chanting curses, scientists scribbling notes with feverish hands. The galaxy had been waiting for a sign, and now it had come. The girl's breath came in shudders, her body weakening again, but still she smiled faintly, one hand pressed to her stomach. Do you not see? This heartbeat means hope. It means change, she whispered. Her voice cracked, but her words carried through the chamber. Kill me if you must. But you cannot kill what has already begun. The mechanic's chest tightened, his throat burning with dread. He wanted to protect her, to pull her away, but they were surrounded. Every eye was on her, every soul shaken by the sound they could not deny. The High Elder trembled, gripping his staff tighter. This cannot be allowed, he declared, though his voice betrayed fear more than certainty. If such a child exists, it will tear our laws apart, it will divide our worlds, it will end our control. And then, without warning, soldiers moved forward, weapons glowing, ready to strike. The mechanic stepped in front of her, his arms spread wide, his voice fierce. You will not touch her. The crowd gasped for a human to defy the council, to stand against the galaxy itself. It was madness. Yet he stood, trembling but unyielding, his body a shield before the girl who could barely stand. The soldiers hesitated, their blades humming. The girl lifted her head weakly, her glowing eyes meeting his back. For the first time she whispered, not with defiance, but with gratitude. You stayed, she breathed. Even now. The heartbeat inside her echoed louder, filling the silence that followed, and in that moment, everyone in the chamber realized the truth. Something had been born that no power, no council, no law could erase. Whether miracle or monster, hope or doom, it was here, and the universe would never be the same again. The chamber did not calm after the heartbeat. It grew louder, wilder, like thunder rolling inside a storm. Priests shouted for purity, soldiers demanded execution, scientists begged for study, and common citizens whispered in shock. But above all the chaos, the sound of that heartbeat echoed. Steady, alive, undeniable. The High Elder struck his staff again, his voice shaking. Order! There will be order! But no one listened, not even the guards. The galaxy itself seemed to tremble at what had been revealed. The alien girl stood weakly, her glowing patterns flickering, her face pale but her eyes were steady. She whispered again, It lives. You cannot silence it. Her words made half the chamber shiver with awe and the other half burn with rage. At last the council announced what many feared. She would be judged by the ancient trial, not by words alone, but by the will of the galaxy's rulers. If found guilty, she would be executed at once. If found innocent, she would be allowed to live, though under strict control. The mechanic's fists clenched, his heart racing. He could see the way the judges looked at her, the fear in their eyes. They would never allow her to live free, never allow the impossible child to be born. He whispered under his breath, They're going to kill her. When her restraints were released for the trial, the alien girl lifted her chin. She looked neither left nor right, but only forward. Her voice rang out, calm but fierce. You fear what you do not understand. You fear life that is not written by your machines. The High Elder's eyes blazed. You call this life? This abomination? You dare to say it is hope? She nodded, her voice breaking but strong. Yes, because I have felt it inside me. A heartbeat that is not mine. A child that is not yours to command. The chamber fell into stunned silence. Her words were too bold, too raw. The mechanic stepped forward, unable to stop himself. She speaks the truth. You may fear it, but fear does not erase reality. Gasps filled the hall. A human, standing against the galaxy's most powerful council. It was madness. But he stood tall, his eyes burning with courage. If you kill her, you do not only kill her body. You kill the future that has already begun. The High Elder's face twisted in fury. You dare defy us, human? The mechanic did not flinch. I dare to tell you what you already know. It is too late to stop this. The soldiers moved again. Their weapons glowing, their orders clear. But just as they stepped forward, the girl collapsed, clutching her stomach. Her glowing marks pulsed violently, lighting the chamber with a strange, almost holy light. The heartbeat grew louder, echoing like drums in every ear. Everyone froze, even the soldiers. The glow around her spread across the floor, patterns forming in alien symbols none could read. It was as if the universe itself spoke through her body. A priest dropped to his knees, trembling. It is a sign. The old prophecies. They spoke of a child born not of one world but of two. Others gasped in horror, shaking their heads. Blasphemy! It must be ended before it destroys us all. The girl raised her head weakly, tears streaming down her face. I am not your curse, she whispered. I am only a girl who asked a question, and found the answer inside myself. The mechanic knelt beside her, gripping her hand tightly. He could feel her trembling, her strength slipping away. He leaned close, whispering, Stay with me. Please stay with me. The council erupted in argument, voices clashing like swords. Some demanded immediate death, others begged for mercy, and a few whispered that she was chosen. The High Elder slammed his staff once more. Enough! She will not be executed here, not yet. She will be taken to the capital world, where the full council of all empires shall decide. Until then she is prisoner. The chamber shook with uproar. Some cheered, some cursed, and others wept. But the mechanic's heart only filled with dread. The capital world meant politics, power and cruelty. If they took her there, she might never return. As soldiers stepped forward to take her, she gripped the mechanic's hand tightly. Her voice was weak, but her words pierced his soul. Don't let them take me. Don't let them kill what's inside me. His jaw tightened. His chest heavy, he wanted to promise her safety. To swear he would fight them all. But surrounded by weapons and rulers, all he could whisper was, I won't leave you. No matter where they take us, and as they dragged her away, the heartbeat still echoed faintly through the hall, a sound no one could deny, a sound that would haunt them all. The galaxy had demanded judgment, but what it received instead was a sign that the future could no longer be controlled. The journey to the capital world was long and silent. The alien girl sat in a prison cell of shimmering energy, her body weak but her spirit unbroken. The human mechanic sat in chains across from her. His eyes never leaving her face, they did not speak much. But between them there was an unspoken promise. He would not abandon her. When they arrived, the capital's council chamber was unlike anything they had seen before. It was a vast arena, walls rising high like mountains, filled with thousands of leaders, priests, warriors, and citizens from every corner of the galaxy. Every seat was taken, every eye fixed on the girl who dared to try what no alien ever had. The High Council gathered at the center, their voices booming through the hall. She stands accused of breaking the laws of creation, of blending what was never meant to be joined. The crowd roared with fury and fear, but then the elder's voice shook as he added, And yet, she carries within her something we cannot deny. The mechanic's chest tightened. His heart pounding, he knew they would try to erase it, to destroy her before the truth could spread. But when he looked at her, he saw only fire in her glowing eyes, even in chains. She stood taller than the rulers who judged her. As the debate raged, her body trembled again. Her glowing marks flared, brighter than ever before. She collapsed to her knees, clutching her stomach, her voice breaking. It's happening. Gasps filled the hall. The sound returned. Thump, thump. Thump, thump, louder now, echoing through the chamber like a drumbeat of war and hope. The mechanic broke his chains and rushed to her side, ignoring the shouts of guards. He held her as she cried out, her body shaking, her glowing patterns bursting into streams of light that lit the entire chamber. And then, in that moment of chaos, a new sound filled the air, a cry soft yet powerful, the first breath of a being that had never existed before. The alien girl collapsed into the human's arms, weak but alive, and in her trembling hands lay a small child, glowing faintly with both alien light and human warmth. The hall fell silent, every leader, every soldier, every priest froze as they saw the impossible. A child of two worlds, alive, breathing, real. The human lifted the child carefully, his hands shaking, his heart overwhelmed. He looked at the faces around him, daring them to deny what stood before them. "This," he shouted, his voice raw, "is not a curse, not a weapon, not an abomination. This is life." Some leaders recoiled in fear, others whispered with awe. One priest fell to his knees, whispering, "The prophecy, the child of light and flesh. It has come," but others shouted in rage, "No, it must not live. If it lives, our laws will crumble, our order will fall." The mechanic's eyes burned with fury. He pulled the child close to his chest. "Then let your laws crumble," he roared. "For nothing can erase what has been born today." The alien girl, pale and weak, lifted her head. Her eyes filled with tears, she whispered, "He lives. Our child lives." Her voice cracked, but it carried across the hall like a blade cutting through stone. The heartbeat of the newborn echoed in the silence that followed, and slowly, one by one, voices began to change. Some wept, some shouted for mercy, and some looked away, unable to face the truth, but all of them knew. Nothing would ever be the same. The High Elder's hand shook as he raised his staff. His voice broke, torn between fear and awe. The galaxy must decide. Is this the dawn of hope or the birth of destruction? The mechanic held the child higher, standing beside the girl who had dared to ask the forbidden question. He shouted into the chamber, his voice fierce and unyielding. "This is not the end. This is the beginning. The child of two worlds will decide the future. Not you, not your laws, not your fear. The future is already here." The chamber erupted, chaos and wonder colliding. But in the middle of it all, the girl closed her eyes and smiled faintly. She had dared to ask, dared to try, and now she held the proof in her arms. A child born not of machines, but of courage and defiance. The galaxy trembled. For the first time, leaders, warriors, and citizens alike saw what they had never believed possible. That two worlds could become one. And as the cries of the child filled the chamber, a single truth burned brighter than any law. The universe would never be the same again.